Okay, so good morning and welcome everyone to session number 5 of entrepreneurship course. Last time we have touched upon what is the development process, right? And we saw why rural development is so important. And we have also discussed the very important 5 focus areas in the case of rural development. And then we have gone through an activity which is building up a tea business, and we have seen the various aspects of it, and we have finally also discussed the business model canvas, the various parameters and various aspects of it were also discussed in the last lecture. So today we are going to start with how to decide a project, right? So how to make my project a sustainable product or a minimum viable product. So for that we need to understand what is a project and what is a product. Okay, so normally we work on a project and we are expected to deliver a product. There are huge activities involved, in development of a project and a product. So on the right, what are the primary differences between a project and a product? A project has outputs, it has a scope, time, budget. It's an abstract. We have to prepare reports, work management. It's predictive. We know what will be the outcome. It has a finish. Yeah, right. And it has investments promised, if it has some value, right? Whereas a product has outcomes. Okay, it has a continuous value. It's not like key limited key it will work. I mean, it will have value today and it will not have value today, tomorrow. No, it has a continuous value. It is concrete. It's an actual thing, right? Which the user or a customer will use. Whereas in case of a project, it doesn't. I mean, it's not guaranteed whether someone will use it or not, right? And product is adaptive, right? It's continuously evolving. Like for example, a service app. Now in a app in a Google Play Store, the apps are continuously getting updated, right? So that what is the meaning of that? They're improving their service. And project product is always ongoing. Okay, there is nothing like it will stop after a particular period of time. No, it's continuously ongoing. And it's value driven. Okay, so based on the quality or the service or the offerings your product or your service provide, it will have the investment returns. Okay, so this is the primary difference between the product and a project, which is extremely important. Next, I want to give a small activity. So I want to all of y'all to find a hidden diamond. There is a diamond hidden in this picture. So I want you all to find this diamond. So to help you all with that, we have divided the screen into several parts like A1, A2, and B1. So come on, start. So find where is the diamond. Hello. See where the diamond is. Anyone? Where do you can you search the diamond in this picture? Any one of you? Can you locate it? It can be anywhere. We have divided it into various regions, right? Where do you think the diamond will be? You need to find a hidden diamond over here in this picture. Can someone volunteer and give the answer, please? Hello. The audio is okay, right?
So the yellow enlightened part, maybe.
So you see the area. Like for example, you mean to say A3.
Yes, sir.
Okay, someone else, anyone else, where do you can locate a diamond, or the same place you want to say? I require one or two more answers.
So same place.
Sorry, I didn't get. Tell the area.
Same place. A3.
A3. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Acha, you're talking about A3. Fine. So it can be anywhere, right? So in reality, there is no diamond, right? Diamond is nothing but like for example, assumptions. So when we talk about, like for example, assumptions or success, when we talk about success, we have to start assuming the things, right? There is no diamond in this picture, but since I have told ki find a diamond, we were finding that in a particular place. We were assuming that it is in the A3, right? So this is in actually we have to start any idea with certain assumptions. Fine. Now let me go to the next slide. Always start with some assumptions. So when we start a project or an idea, we should start with some assumptions. Okay, because we don't know the market, we don't know customers, we don't know the customer behavior, we don't know the competition, we don't know the market size, we don't know how it will be that our product will be accepted in the market. So there are too many unknowns. So somewhere you have to start with the assumptions, correct? And before developing any product, we should start with the assumptions. And like for example, this was the area, C2, or where a diamond should be, that we have started thinking about the assumptions, right? So that's what we have to frame the assumptions. Now assumptions will give us directions where your idea is headed, right? So think about how technology can build a new product. So assumptions should not be too obvious. For examples, let's say we are given a task of going into a village and find out whether what is their requirement for electricity, that is light. So our first assumption might be that 10-watt bulbs will be we actually we volunteer for, let's say we go for few villages, x number of villages, and we make an assumption key they use 10-watt bulb, and it consumes around 100 units per year. We require around 100 units per year. So this is an assumption, right? And yeah, so it should not be, assumption should not be too obvious. For example, 10-watt bulbs is used in all the houses, which might not be correct, right? So assumption should be linked with the problem, as the technological people say, right? For example, if you are a electrical engineer or an electronic engineer, we know that how much will be the wattage consumption. So always the assumptions will be in line with that. For example, if we do a back calculation, energy consumption per house per day is 1 unit, let's say. So and we need to focus on ki what will be the most obvious assumption will be very technological point of view, that 30%. We did the survey, the survey in the village, and we asked number of people, and they told, the people found out that 30% of the 10-watt bulb are used in the kitchen. So this assumption is bringing closer to our actual solution. So before starting any project, we should start with n number of assumptions, many assumptions. Okay. Now, next is the project selection. So we need to understand the process, right? So we need to understand, we need to make a lot of assumptions. We need to understand who has the problem, correct? We need to create a specific image of the customer. First of all, we need to see, identify the problem. Then we need to discuss who has the problem. That means you create a specific image of the customer, that who might be my customer, correct? And next is how this problem is solved today. Okay, sorry, by mistake it is written product over there. How this problem is solved today. So these are the three questions. Every assumption is nothing but an idea, correct? So whatever assumption we make is nothing but give rise to a new idea. So we need to go back to validate our assumptions. So validation of assumptions is extremely important. So we need to go to validate and again make the assumptions and redefine them. Okay, so again we go back to the three questions: identify the problem, who has the problem, and how this problem is solved today. Okay, and again we validate it, again we refine the assumptions, and again we this loop goes on continuously. Okay, so the validation of a assumptions is extremely important, or validation of idea. Now what is the difference between validation and verification? This is the most common mistake. Many people confuse between validation and a verification. So validations means, is this right specification, right? For example, marketing, whether the project is worth building, whether someone will be using my a project or a product, correct? So and verification, what is verification means, is the system correct to the specifications? Like for example, we laid down certain specific or surgical person verifies the particular specification. So that is what you mean by verification, right? So validation with respect to market experts, and verifications are with respect to techno experts. Fine. So these are the details or the difference between a verification and a validation. Okay, one more thing. So validation means what? Am I building the right product, right? And it can include customer acceptance test or usability test. And verification means, am I building the product right? So see, it's totally different. Verification means, am I building the product right? And it can involve unit test, integration test, and automated test. And the overlap of the two, I mean, we can have some common tests, for example, system test and beta test. So these are the another differences between the validation and there is one more part, the validation and the verification process. The validation is the most important, right? Let's say we have narrowed down the customer's needs and process, which will lead to a product development. Fine. So we have all started with the verification, with listing down the specifications and the product verification also, right? We have dealt with all the technological aspects. So now we need to check whether the product developed or developing is satisfying the customer's needs and expectations or no. So validation is done at a primary stage. So products always should have a market value, and this is achieved by validation process. Okay, so without proper validations, our product will not reach the market. Okay, or improper validation will have that means that your product will have no market value. So once we validate our product, then only we can develop the product. So next, after validation of the product must be having some specification, some process. That is the later stage. So verification can include all the testing part, certifications, compliance, ROH compliance, and etc. Okay. So all these things are part of that. Fine. Any questions so far? Anyone? Anyone having any questions? You have understood the difference between the validation and the verification process, right? Okay.
Yes.
So let us, yeah, anyone? Okay, fine. So let us move forward. So let us see primarily the definition, the dictionary definition of validation is the action of checking or proving the validity or accuracy of something. Okay, so that means the confidence in the product development, it is basically validation gives you the confidence in the product development for the right customer. Okay, now next question comes to our mind is what to validate and with whom to validate. So these are the two important questions which we should ask. Okay, now next, now let us define what do you mean by customer. So customer is a person who will buy the product or your service. Whereas a consumer is the actual end user. Okay, now there are two pictures over here. Can you tell me what these pictures are signifying? Anyone? Who is the customer and who is the consumer over here?
The mother is
Consumer.
customer and the baby is consumer.
Yes, yes. Your mom is the customer and the mother is the customer who buys the baby shampoo, and the consumer is the baby or the infant who is using it. Okay, so we should understand the difference between the customer and the consumer. Okay, that is also very, very important because we have to keep these things in mind also. Fine. Developer, right, who or entrepreneur should understand the consumer and satisfy the customer, because ultimately your consumer will consume your end product. Okay, so your quality of the product and all will be tested over there, but who will buy the product? Your customer, who will pay for your service. Correct. So consumer or customer can be two different things. Correct. For example, in this case, a mother is buying, who is paying for the product, right? And who is using it? A child. This simple example which I've given you. So the best principle is that we need to satisfy the customer. Your offerings, your value proposition should be convenience or satisfy the customer so that they buy your product. Okay. Now, why customers buy? So they have a need or they have a want. Correct. So the important aspects is to understand the need or want in developing a new, let's say for example, a new engineering project. So whether our project is satisfying the need or it is satisfying the want. Fine. So a need is the consumer's desire for a product or a service, or it can be service specific benefit, whether that can be functional or emotional. Whereas a want is the desire for the product or a service that are not necessary, but which a consumer wishes for. Okay. Can anyone give me an example of a need or a want? Any example, any specific example? Need or a want? Give me one example
Sir,
of each.
need can be any smartphone and want can be premium smartphone.
Yes, yes, good. Any other example? What is a need and what is a want from the consumer or customer specific, so that they
Need is eating food at home. Want is eating gourmet food outside, eating outside.
correct. Excellent answers. Very good, very good. So see, a simple example can be, a need can be, I physically need water to survive. That is absolute necessary. Whereas a want will be, I want clean, safe to drink, good tasting water. So this is one example where it's clearly distinguished what is my need and what is my want. So your product or your service can be satisfying the need or it can be satisfying the want. Okay. Now you remember in the last lecture we have discussed about the tea business, right? So our tea business can be with respect to need or it can be with respect to want. Correct. Now next slide. So this next slide will tell us, they have analyzed based on 101 startups, right, who have failed. So they have listed down top 20 reasons for startup fail. Okay. So out of these top 20, you can read that out. What do you think is the most important things? I mean, the topmost one, no market need. Obviously, it's important. What tell me remaining two things which are extremely vital other than the top one. Can you all tell me? Hello.
Ran out of cash and not the right team.
Okay, you need not say the next two directly. TK, it's important. But what is really I mean, what do you think other than the rank? what other two reasons can be the, are most important for with respect to you. This is the survey which they have done. So from the remaining 19, which two of them which you think can be, see, it can be up to you, because these top reasons will vary from customer, I mean from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, or from startups to startup. So which according to you are the two other reasons other than the no market need? Come on.
Sir, team,
Sir,
if we don't
poor
get the right
marketing and
people
product.
on board.
Okay, and next one. Team,
Sir,
and
legal
then
challenges and business model.
Lack of
yeah,
passion.
correct. Okay. Lack of passion,
Sir,
very good.
poor
And the
product and
first,
poor marketing. Hello.
yes, that's very important. Yes,
Yes, sir.
that's true. That's true.
Don't
That's true.
know how to position our product in the market.
Okay. Yeah, that's also very, very important. Positioning of your product, like for example, enough market survey also it's required. Any other thing which you think? Okay, fine. So you'll have given a lot of reasons, correct? We have listed down the three primary reasons why product fails or why projects are not scaled up. So first of all is the no market need. For example, product was developed just for just for some building some technology or someone to sell. There was a requirement for that, but we have not done any there was not a market need for it. So majority of the time, whenever we start up with an idea, if there is no market need, that idea will be failing some time or the sooner. Okay. Next will be the poor product. Even if you have build your product and it is have the market need, but it is not offering the very good quality or offerings or the service, now it will obviously fail after a certain point of time. The next reason is the ignored customers. Well, if you ignore a customer as an entrepreneur, you fail, because customer is the god. Customer is the lifeline. Customer is the one who will pay you. So without customers, we cannot think of any product will succeed. So you can give any example which has survived without a customer. So there will be not many. I mean, there will be none of the example which will survive without the customer. So if you ignore the customer while building the product, that will be the number one disaster or number one reason to fail. Okay, obviously, it's your product should have some market value, and it should have a market need. Your market, I mean, the market should have your need for your product, right? So the bottom line is the customer identification is most important for any business. Now these are the top 20 reasons the startup fail. I will just give you all a gist of it. Okay. So you all can have a look at it. It's loading a little. Just wait for 5 seconds. So you all can refer that also later. There are many reasons wherein they have given in detail. These are the details which I've already included in those slide. What I want you all to focus is, and what I want you all to go is, they have written various examples. Why that particular thing is written. For example, if I go directly down, they have written some things for no market need. What is the number one reason for startups to fail? So for example, this is written by some of the company that startup fail when they are not solving a market problem. So they were like not solved a large enough problem that could universally serve with a scalable solution. And they have written key, they have added key, we had a great technology, great data on the shopping behavior, great reputation as a thought leader, great expertise or great advisor, but we didn't have what was technology or business model that solved a pain point in a scalable manner. Okay, so these are the reasons which we have which they have written over here, that one of them realized ki essentially they had no customers because no one was really interested in the model they were pitching in. So because they had, doctors want more patient, not an efficient office. So they were developing some, a good office structure for doctors, which didn't have the market need basically. Okay. So these are the few reasons why, the startups can fail. So I want you all to go through it, read out basically. Okay. So these are very important points which will be beneficial to you, which you can understand, right? Ki why startups basically fail. Fine. So I will give that for you all time to read that. Okay. So let's go to the next point. So we all understand that customer is the key. Fine. I want to take a biological break of 10 seconds. If you want to ask any questions, anyone, and then we'll resume back. Any questions so far on the topics discussed? So please read on the top 20 reasons for startup to fail. They have given a very good article over there. Okay. Okay, it's fine. So next is bottleneck. Why a product is successful or a service is successful or not successful is based on the customer response. For example, in a tea business, customers are very, very important. Now we have identified three types of customers: students, corporate people, and the people roaming around. So do you think that the response from the different segments of the customer will be different? For example, the need or the want for a tea business. No, for a student, the ambience is important. Yes or no? The chairs, the table, the big tables, so that they have a big gathering over there, right? The music is there inside the tea stall, or TV is there. It has some value to it, right? Whereas for a corporate, a large table is not required. Maybe a small table or 2 or 3 people where we have a good ambience, and it also matters key where in which what is the medium in which the tea is served, whether it's a cup, or a glass, right? And they require smaller tables to discuss their businesses. Whereas the requirement for let's say a people is roaming around, and they just want to have a tea. They don't care about the ambience, right? They don't care about in which medium the tea is served. So for them, only tea is important, drinking the tea and going away. So that means we can develop a business model as per a customer requirement. So it also depends upon the type of customers, right? So customer is the key. So what is the bottleneck, right? So bottleneck is there are two types of people. One is a manager and one is a leader. So manager, like, they will identify the bottlenecks. So let's say they will say ki I will work on these aspects which will make my business more successful, right? Whereas a leader will keep the bottlenecks, will ensure that few activities will ensure the success of a product. For example, the quality of a tea is extremely important. So entire focus is made on the quality of the tea, right? So tea taste remains the same. So for them, that is the most important value proposition. Fine. So next are the customers. The customers are the people who buy the product, correct, or the service. Now, uh, basically my focus area will be my product focus area will be like based upon the customers, and that's why we need to start profiling the customers and we need to identify the archetypes. Now let us understand what are these things. So customer profiling, these are the two important aspects: the customer profiling and the customer archetype. So, before going for a customer discovery or a customer identification, we should, do customer profiling and we should have a customer archetype. Now, what is customer profiling? So basically we classify the customers based on the age, profession and culture, right? So we can classify the customers based on the following types. So for example, a tea business, a tea business. For example, a person aged 20 to 40 is my customer. Okay, so age requirement is there. So let's say now we classify based on the male. So all males with the age of 20 to 40 are my customers. So let's be more specific. All males with the range of age of 20 to 40 from Andheri area are my customers. Or let's classify more. All males, and they will be all be students, right? From the Andheri area, age between 20 to 18 to 25 will be my customers. So see, in the last statement, the entire focus will change. My customers are my students who are aged between 18 to 25 and in the Andheri area. So the space requirement, so the ambience requirement, all will be taken care of. Are you all understanding? Anyone has a doubt in this? Anyone?
No, sir.
Okay, very good. Next is the customer's archetype. Okay, so basically, what do you mean by customer archetype? It's basically the tool that is designed to have an in-depth knowledge of the final customer or the consumer behavior. Okay, so there are 6 types of archetype. There can be a decision maker, there can be an influencer, then one can be the saboteur, end user, and the payer. Now we have discussed the tea business, right? So what according to you can be a decision maker in the tea business? Influencer, recommender, saboteur, or end user? Come on, quickly tell me. Or who will be the payer? Can anyone tell me?
The payer
In-
is the customer. End user is the consumer.
No,
Recommender.
I mean to say you identify the customer, whether it's a student or a corporate people, and then don't say the customer consumer. Don't not like that. Okay, since we have a little less time, I will be discussing this a little more details myself. So in a tea business, basically the decision maker is the one who will pay the bill. Let's say a corporate person is his party is spending. He has a promotion and he's taking 4 of his. So let's say he has it. He want to give them a tea party. So he is the one who will pay the bill. So one of them, right? One of the corporate people. So he will be. He has already had to that. Been to that particular place or that particular tea stall, and he know that he's influencing the decision whether you go to this tea stall. They serve the best tea. They have the best ambience. So one of them can be the influencer. One of his friends recommender. So last time that person particular, he might have had that tea over there in that tea stall, and he felt that the quality of the tea and all is very good. So one among them will be the recommender. Can anyone tell me who will be the saboteur? So let's say saboteur are the persons who are saying no to your service or your product. So they don't allow the customer to come to you. Okay. So let's say in a group of 5 corporates, like for example, their colleagues, they want to drink a tea. For among one of them is a smoker. So and the tea which you all are going, there is no smoking zone. So his value proposition is not satisfied in that job. Okay. So he will insist the other to go to some other place where his value proposition is satisfied. He's able to do his what he likes. Forget, so he will be the saboteur. He will not allow the customer to come to you. End user is all the persons who are drinking the tea, right? And the payer is who pay the bill. So what do you think? If more people are involved in this, there are more chances of a success or a failure. Correct? Do you agree to this, or you have slightly different this example of a tea business, or you want to add to something? Okay, fine. So now, do you see this Santur soap? So after you see this image, what comes to your mind? Hello.
Ad.
What else?
Skincare soap.
Yes. You must have seen this ad also, advertisement also many times. So what comes to your mind?
Sir, influencer of this ad.
Influencer is the ad. Okay. So, okay, I want to cut short the discussion over here, basically in the view of time. So, one common thing in all the Suntour ads which you see or all their labels is there is a mom or a child. Maybe they are the child, differs in the image, but always they have a mother and a child. Okay, so it's their message or their communication is that use this Suntour soap and remain. Message is the same. How they are communicating the messages via the mom or the daughter. Okay, so they create the Suntour soap, create an image of a customer that if you use this Suntour soap, you will remain forever young. So watching the ad, which is same almost for around 5 years, their communication and the message is the same. That the customers are the household ladies or the mothers, right? And who have a small child of 5 or 6 years, and they like you want to become young and right. So that is their distinct message. Fine. Who is the decision maker? Decision maker is the mother, mom, who will go to the grocery and purchase the product. Who is the influencer? Who is the influencer over here?
Her child.
No, influencer is the
TV
you.
ad.
It's the person who is watching the ad is the influencer, right? You yourself are the influencer. You want to become young, right? For example, if you are, if you consider yourself, let's say, you want to use this soap because you want to become young, correct? So you yourself are the influencer. You yourself are the recommender. You recommend this soap to yourself. Who is the saboteur? So basically, if you saboteur means that you will stop people from buying your product. You will promote Suntour, so you will be saboteur for the other soaps. For example, other companies. For example, Lux. You will not allow your family or to anyone to use other than this product. So you will be saboteur for your for other soaps. And who will be the end user? You will be the end user, and you will be the payer. Okay. So what is the value proposition for the young mothers or young ladies or women will be the looking good. So that is the value proposition which they are looking for. Okay, next, let's go ahead. Now I want to play one small video and watch the video carefully.
जल ही है जीवन, जल से ही है ये धरती सुंदर, जल से ही है बेहतर आज और सुनहरा कल, जल से ही खुशहाल होगा जीवन जब हर घर पहुंचेगा नल से जल। जल जीवन मिशन, हर घर जल।
ये जल जीवन मिशन, इसके लिए केंद्र और राज्य साथ मिलकर के काम करेंगे और आने वाले वर्षों में 3.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए से भी ज्यादा रकम जल जीवन मिशन के लिए खर्च करने का हमने संकल्प किया।
और इस बार का बड़ा लक्ष्य है 3,60,000 करोड़ की लागत से जल जीवन मिशन के तहत 2024 तक हर घर नल से जल पहुंचाने का। अभी तक देश के 18 करोड़ ग्रामीण घरों में से 3.25 करोड़ घरों को नल से जल पहुंचाया जा चुका है और अगले 4.5 सालों में लगभग 14.5 करोड़ घरों में नल से जल पहुंचाया जाएगा। लक्ष्य है बड़ा और सीमा तय है अगले 4.5 साल। इसलिए एक सटीक और सही प्लानिंग के साथ इस मिशन का क्रियान्वयन है बेहद जरूरी। इसके लिए भारत सरकार ने इस मिशन को जन जन से जोड़ा है, जिसमें कि ग्राम पंचायत और गांव के लोग योजना के क्रियान्वयन, प्रबंधन, संचालन और रखरखाव में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएंगे और भारत सरकार का इस बड़े काम में बराबरी के साथ साथ देगी राज्य सरकारें। वैसे जब ये सभी एक साथ एक लक्ष्य पर काम करेंगे तो बेहद आसानी से पहुंच पाएगा हर घर तक जल और होगा हर जीवन उज्जवल।
हम इस विश्वास के साथ आगे बढ़े कि पानी के क्षेत्र में पिछले 70 साल में जो काम हुआ है, हमें 5 साल में 4 गुने से भी ज्यादा उस काम को करना है।
जल जीवन मिशन, हर घर जल।
Okay, so what according to you, this is the Swachh Jal Abhiyan under the government, central government, right? So tell me, can you all identify the customer archetypes over here? Who is the decision maker, influencer, recommender, saboteur, and end user and the payer? Can you all do that?
Decision maker is the government.
Okay.
Influencer will be us.
Influencer will be us. Okay. Anything else? I mean, other things?
Recommender can be any company.
Recommender can be any company.
Saboteur can be opposition government.
Saboteur can be opposition government. Okay.
End user can be household.
Household.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Any other thing? Any other person wants to add over here?
Sir, the payer will be the taxpayer. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so I will add on to it. So what did you saw in that video? I mean, what message they were giving? Do you see a small boy drinking water? And then do you see an image of mom washing utensils? So what image they are creating? Who is the customer according to you in this particular ad? Who is the customer?
The child and the mother.
So what are they? They belong to a, do they belong to a middle class family or a very rich family?
No,
The
the
rural
lower
household.
class. The rural
Yeah.
household.
Lower middle class.
Correct.
Yeah.
Even in middle class family, this problem can be there even in some states. Rural development, yeah, rural areas also, and in some places in urban areas also, mostly in rural areas. Correct. So it's a middle class or a lower income group family. Correct. So what is the need over here? What is the need? Whether they are addressing the need or they are addressing the want?
They are addressing the need.
Correct. So not only that your water will be available via tap. So you require safe drinking water, right? That's the message. That's what there was a small sign drinking the water. So that's the message which they are giving. Then,
But isn't that like the want also?
yeah, it can be both. Yes, definitely. Necessity is what you should have. I mean, you should have water.
Water,
right?
yes.
What will be want? Want will be like you should have water, but it should be safe drinking water.
Yes.
Correct. So it depends upon that. So the need of an household is you should have a safe drinking water, and that can be the want also, as you said. Correct. But the decision maker over here is the household people, the middle class family is the decision maker, whether to go for this, whether to support this scheme or no, right? They would like to continue with this Jal Abhiyan or no. If they don't cooperate, then there is no use of having such a huge campaign. Who is the influencer? The influencer or the recommender? What did you told in this ad? It was like a mother washing the utensils, the small child drinking water. So they are influencing, or they are the right? Or as you said, the people itself, the middle class people, or this thing can be, or the opposition party also can be a saboteur. Who is the end user? End user.
Sir, but doesn't influencer mean someone who's going to influence you? So wouldn't that essentially be the ad?
Yeah,
the
this
government?
particular ad, that's what I am talking about. This particular ad. So advertisement, right? And who is influencing the most? A child drinking water. So don't you get influenced by it? Ki no, we have a requirement. Correct or no?
Yes, sir.
So mom washing utensils, they are seeing happy faces over there in the rural area. So that is what I'm saying. This ad is the influencer and the recommender itself. Correct?
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Who is the end user?
hello.
Yeah.
So the influencer might be the company who is also making profit from it, and on the other end also, yeah, I mean
Correct. Do you
having a
see
good
that
image.
company in the ad? Okay.
No. I
Correct. Do
can't
you
see
see
the
the
company
company
in the
within
ad.
the
I
ad?
can't see the company in the ad, but the company is not showing its face. I mean, it's helping the government to improve its image. On the other end, it is also
Yeah.
making profit from it.
Yeah, but directly influencing the the rural area people or the lower income class people to have this thing, right? To have this Jal Abhiyan. They are supporting. They are acting as a supporting role, but they are not directly influencing. What is influencing means which will create the need. I mean, the requirement for this particular which has been delivered in the ad. That is the most influencing part, and that is what they are recommending the scheme to the larger population or the rural. They gave some numbers, right? And they have done some statistics. People already have the taps in their homes. There are around 10 crore people requiring it more. So this ad is the particular, you can say it's influencer. It's way of your perception also. And who is the payer? What do you think? Who is the payer? The end user is the middle class family or the lower income group or the rural area or the village people in the villages are the end users. Now tell me who is the payer?
Taxpayers.
Central and the state government. Yes, of course, taxpayers. I mean, that is our money which they are using. So central and the state government are are the payers for the scheme. Fine.
Okay.
So yeah. Now let's see another example. So here there is an example of gaming, right? Developing a video game. So let's say you interview 4 customers: mom, dad, a elder sister, and a little boy, a 10-year sister and a 6-year-old boy. Now tell me who will be the decision maker, influencer, recommender, saboteur, end user, and the payer. With that, we will end this today's session.
Decision maker with a parent.
Decision maker is
the parent.
decision. Okay,
Decision maker,
parent.
yes.
Any of the parent. It can be
Mom or dad, right?
or it can be
Yes, sir. And influencer is is
correct. Who is the influencer?
It will be us who will be influencing.
For example, okay, let me just help you all out. The end user is just, let's say he wants to play a game, right?
Yes.
I mean, pair ultimately will be the father, right? Decision maker will be any of the parent. End user will be the small 10-year-old boy, a small 6-year-old boy. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And saboteur will be the elder girl. She may have, she may not get to play to video game because he's much little bit elder. So she may not like, the younger one who to have the video game. She'll try to sabotage. And recommended the influencer can be the elder girl itself, right? This game.
But it can
So
be
we
the
can
small
have these
child
4
also.
customer segments. Yeah, correct. So the influencer or the recommender can be the maybe the younger boy has seen someone someone playing that game, or he have seen some of his colleagues or friends playing that particular video game, so they are influencing that decision. Correct or no?
And
But
where
if
does
we have
no.
sorry,
Where does the company come in play? Is it the Are we the influencers or are we the recommenders?
You only tell, na, where will the company who is buying, I mean, who is creating that particular video game is playing a role over here. I mean, if you buy a particular game for a child, if it goes to a market, does it really that child is interested in which company the game is made of?
No.
Please mute your microphones. It's a request. I mean, whenever you buy a particular product, do you really want to know which company has done it, or when you buy a video game? No, no. What is the profile of the company? Who is the owner of the company? Are you really interested in knowing that? No. You just want a game, a video game. So this is what the customer archetype means. Okay. So I will stop over here and I will continue this tomorrow, right? So let me just stop the video recording.